In this challenge, you guys are going to create the functionality for processing the transaction. Now, I'm going to lay out some pseudocode to help you along, but ultimately, you're going to complete the process of purchasing an item from this shop. So let's walk through the visual logic here of what needs to happen. I'm going to run my game. Let's go ahead and enable and disable our shop real quick. So when we enter the shop, we can then select an item. What you're going to need to do is, we know through code which item is currently selected. You need to save that value. You need to store it in a variable which item is currently selected. From there, with that item currently selected, if I hit buy item, you need to call a function. So you're going to have a function in the shop script that's going to say buy item, and you're then going to handle the transaction and think about the logic that is involved with that. So if we hop into code and go into our shop system here, this is where you know what the current item is. You need to save this value so that we know whether we should award the player the flame sword, the boots, or the key, whatever that may be. Now, in order to do that, you're going to want to have a variable that's going to store that. So here, think of it as a variable. So here we have a variable for current items selected. So a variable for current items selected. Once you've done that, we then need to know how much those items cost, because when you hit that buy function, right, you're gonna have a function here called buy item method. What needs to happen within here? You need to check if the player even has enough gems. If player gems, basically. So here, check if player gems is greater than or equal. If it's greater than or equal to item cost. Now, if it is, then what do you want to do? If it is, then award item, else cancel sale. Go ahead and just close the shop. If they can't afford it, just close it. And if they do have enough, then what you're going to need to do, if it is, then award item, and you need to subtract gems. Subtract cost from players' gems. So you're going to need to do a little bit of a math calculation to handle that transaction. So don't worry right now about awarding the necessary item. We'll get into that when we create our game manager in the coming videos. But for now, go ahead and create the buy functionality. I'll see you guys in the challenge review.